Okay, good evening, everyone. I think we are live. So, first of all, I would like to thank all of the students who have come live to watch this webinar. So, we'll just start in 1 minute. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to this free webinar, which is conducted by Talent Battle in association with KPIT Technologies Pune. Okay. Today we have with us Dr. Hemant Dashora, okay, who is currently working as a technical lead in the electric vehicles domain of KPIT Technologies. And we are organizing this particular live webinar for students to create awareness about the electric vehicles, what are the latest trends and challenges. So all of us know that nowadays a lot of electric vehicles are coming in the market. Manufacturers like Tata Motors or even Mahindra and Mahindra have launched their electric vehicles. Even we know Ola has also come up with its Ola electric bike. And let us get a lot of knowledge about electric vehicles in this particular webinar. So currently, one important thing, we haven't enabled the live chat currently. So first, Hemant sir will be delivering his webinar, and at the end, we will be having question answer session, during which you can ask any question related to this particular topic. After that, I will be sending you the attendance link. So don't ask about attendance link during the Q&A session. So after the Q&A session, I'll be sending you the attendance link, which you can fill. And after that, the certificates, most important thing, which will be there, that will be sent by KPIT and in next 2 to 3 days. Okay. So don't ask about the attendance link and certificate during the Q&A session. So ask relevant questions related to this particular topic, that is electric vehicles. So before we start, I would like to give a brief about Hemant sir's introduction in short. Okay. So he has completed his PhD from the University of Padova, Italy, and also completed his master's from IIT Kharagpur. Okay. So he has been in this industry for more than 7 years with the industrial experience in electric vehicles, propulsion, and power electronics. Okay. So he'll tell more about himself during the webinar, also his experiences and a lot of other things. So I would request all of you to stay till the end so that you can ask interesting questions related to this topic to Hemant sir. So thank you, Hemant sir and entire KPIT team for giving us this particular opportunity so that we can give this knowledge to our viewers and students. So Hemant sir, you can turn on your audio and video and you can start with the webinar.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome for this webinar session. I'm going to tell you something about electric vehicles today, what are the trends, technology, and what can be the future aspects and business aspects also a little bit in electric vehicles. So in the future, it will be very useful for you, especially for the students who are doing or exploring their careers. Okay, so let's start. So first of all, I give you a list of the session points, the background of electric vehicles I'm going to discuss, then the benefits of electric vehicles, then major subsystems in that, and what are the engineering challenges and some of the business prospects with electric vehicles.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Just
yes,
can you be a little bit loud because the voice is a little
low. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, when electric vehicles come in our mind, so many people have perception that electric vehicles are not very powerful because they might have seen only the very small electric scooters, so they are not very powerful. So I'm giving you an example and that explain how electric motor is more valuable or more powerful than an IC engine. Basically, in an electric vehicle, the electric motor is very good source of power which can provide torque at nearly all the speeds, starting from the 0 speed to the rated speed of the motor. And for that speed, the motor is designed. By using a clever motor control and motor and the drive system, we can achieve that thing, the very high torque for the wide range of speed. So an electric vehicle can accelerate super fast and without any gear shift. Like in IC engine, we need a gear shift, automatic or maybe manual, but we need a gear shift from starting from 0 speed to one certain speed. But in electric motor, this is very smooth without any gear shift. You all know about the Tesla motors. Just a minute. Tesla motors. So I'm giving one example of Tesla Model S. Tesla Model S was the third fastest accelerating production car ever produced, which can accelerate from 0 to 60 mph in 2.5 milliseconds only. In comparison of this model, LaFerrari and Porsche 918 Spider, they were quicker than Model S, but these cars were small segment, two-seater car and $1 million cars. But in comparison of them, the Model S was the four-door family car with storage capacity and much lower cost. So here you see, and this shows the huge performance difference between electric car and fueled car. So electric vehicle has a huge potential achieving the acceleration and the driving, the smooth driving and many other aspects. So let's try to understand what is inside the electric car. Then it happens like this. So an electric car seems like this, like a normal car, but inside that, starting from the wheels, there will be wheels. Then wheels will be connected to one differential gear system. Then there will be another gearbox, and the gearbox will be connected to one motor. And the motor will be controlled or powered by some motor controller that includes some processor programming where we feed the programming, and there will be some inverters that provide power to the motor. And this power comes from a battery pack. So this is a typical architecture of any electric vehicle. But this is not limited to this one only. There is a different possibilities. We can arrange this architecture in different ways, and electric vehicle can be realized. In this, you observe there will be the power flow. When we drive the vehicle, the power flow will be from battery to the wheels, the power flow direction. When we propel the vehicle will be driving. But there is also possibility or opportunity we have that regenerative braking. So whenever we apply the brakes on the vehicle, so that energy, that kinetic energy which a vehicle has, can be also stored back to the battery pack. And this is a very important benefit of electric vehicle. And it increases the energy efficiency of the vehicle also. And this thing is missing in normal fueled vehicle, the internal combustion engine vehicles. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about other architectures, what are possible. In electric vehicle, motor is the main source of propulsion, but motor is a device where we have a huge flexibility of motor placement. So I'm giving you some examples here, but this is also not again limited to this one only. Some examples that motor can be coupled to the wheels directly. 4 motors can be coupled to 4 wheels, or maybe the wheels can be built in motors itself. So this is one architecture. Another architecture possible, 2 motors that are there, they are using some gear arrangement, differential arrangement, they can be coupled to the wheels, 2 motors in this order. Or maybe 2 motors are directly coupled to the wheels and 1 motor is through the transmission, the gear system, and coupling to the wheels, another side of wheels. So these are 3 basic examples I have given you. These are some possibilities of arrangement or the architecture of the vehicle is there. But this is not limited to this. Electric vehicle has a huge flexibility that we can place motor in any other place. So maybe 2 motors, multiple motors are coupled to 1 gear and they are powering 2 wheels. So this is also one possibility. So this is upon you, this on the designer that how they want to design this.
Sir, sorry to interrupt again. There are some requests from student to be a little bit more loud.
Okay, we'll try that.
Yeah, because the sound is a little bit low.
Okay, all right.
Yes, thank you, sir.
So I said that there is in the architecture of electric vehicles, this is not limited to some certain architecture. There is a huge possibility or flexibility how we use the architecture. So now coming to the benefits of electric vehicles. This is very important slide. It will list out the benefits, what we can think, or we may not think about that also. First of all is zero emission. In comparison of normal fuel vehicle, you see a lot of pollution is there, noise is there, but here the zero emission, no pollution is there in electric vehicle from the vehicle directly, basically, and it can utilize the renewable energy. But this is not the case in a normal conventional vehicle. We can't utilize the solar energy, wind energy, but in electric vehicle we can. Then regenerative braking. This is we can restore the power of the current kinetic energy of the vehicle into the battery. So this flexibility I already explained. Then the smooth speed control without any gear shift, any any jerk or any shifting sense, and no energy spent at idle. In conventional vehicle, when vehicle is idle, we are standing on a signal, then still engine can be running and that is consuming fuel. But in electric vehicle, this is not the case. When vehicle is not moving, it's not consuming any energy from the battery. Simple and flexible powertrain, I already talked about. And flexibility in propulsion arrangement, I already explained in the previous slide. Silent driving, in comparison of the engine, in the motor, there is a very negligible noise or sound is there. So it's quite a very much silent vehicle. Less moving and wearing part. This is also very important aspect in electric vehicle, that normally in the engine, conventional vehicle, there are multiple parts, many parts are there which are moving, rotating, and in this way they are producing torque for the vehicle, the propulsion torque. But in electric vehicle, very less moving parts are there, so the wearing of the parts will be also very less, so very less maintenance required in electric vehicle. Better acceleration, because the peak torque at wide speed range we can achieve, so better acceleration it has. And one more point is vehicle to home or vehicle to grid application. We can, if we have an excess charge in our battery of our vehicle, then that energy can be transferred to home. We can utilize that in our home, or we can also deliver this energy to the grid, and we can earn money in that case if the policies are like that. So these are the some advantages I tried to list down here, but there may be many more advantages which you can explore more. But so many advantages are there, but still the vehicles are not very much seen in the market anywhere. So what are the main hurdles in proliferation of these vehicles? So first of all, the energy storage. Everybody knows that the electric vehicle battery is a limited battery, so the energy density in the battery is not very much, that we can't store very much energy in a small battery. So energy density is one problem. Then material scarcity. The batteries which we use, lithium-ion batteries. So lithium-ion batteries, in the lithium is very rare kind of material. We are dependent on China for the lithium material. So this is one problem in the battery system. And size, cost, weight. This is also very big concern regarding battery in comparison of any fuel tank in a vehicle. The size is quite bigger in a battery. Then the life and maintenance of battery is also another people have worry. They don't want to go for this kind of vehicle. So this is one hurdle, very big hurdle of energy storage is there in electric vehicle. Another thing is charging infrastructure. The vehicle can be charged from electricity from anywhere, but there should be a certain infrastructure so that the grid can supply electric vehicle the required power. Because for charging electric vehicle, and if you want to charge very fast, then we need that much high power, and that high power is not available everywhere. Normally in our homes, the domestic supply is single phase supply is that is up to 3 kilowatt, 3.5 kilowatt. That much energy we can receive from our domestic mains. But this much is not sufficient for electric vehicle charging. So the infrastructure should be proper for the charging electric vehicles, and the availability of the chargers. Like the fuel pump, petrol pumps are available everywhere, but charging stations are not there currently. So one concern is this availability of charging station, then capacity of charging station, that how much power it can transfer to the vehicle, and how fast it can charge. The speed of the charging is also very important aspect. So this is the second thing. The third point is the price. Electric vehicles are much, or at least comparatively more expensive than a normal conventional vehicle for the same segment of car. And this is just because of the battery cost. The battery cost of in a vehicle, approximately the cost of the battery is 40% of the cost of the total vehicle, the entire vehicle. So this is expensive. So we have to find out the solution again from the storage system, from the battery. And another cost is the permanent magnets and these kind of things used in motors. Because if we use permanent magnet motors, then the permanent magnets are also rare earth materials we have to use. And for that also we are dependent on other countries where these kind of materials are more. Then the last point, a very big point also, is servicing of this vehicle. Currently in the market, if you buy any vehicle, the servicing is not available everywhere. And the skills of the servicing of this kind of vehicle is also not available in mostly the mechanics. And also in this, while the servicing, also the safety is a concern, because if there is a large battery, high voltage battery is there, high current is flowing, that may create a problems in safety perspective. So these are the major things which are the main hurdles in proliferation of electric vehicles. Now, after talking to benefits and the problems in electric vehicle, let's try to understand when this story started about the electric vehicles. So I'm giving a brief history on just this slide, that when any vehicle started and now where we started and now where we are. So basically the first electric vehicle started in the 19th century. In 1835, first electric car was built in Germany, and around that time also in many other countries also some prototypes are developed, and then the story started of electric vehicles. And then first of all, the first electric vehicle was having non-rechargeable battery, so there was a limitation of the drive range, and different technology they used, very basic one. But at least this story started that time. Then the invention of the rechargeable battery came, and then the increase on the electric vehicles happened. Then in 1912, there was the peak production of electric vehicle in the United States. But after some time, it decreased, and one incident happened in around 1925, 1924, that around this time, 1924, Henry Ford started mass production of conventional vehicle, very mass production. Then the price of the conventional vehicle reduced to 1/3 of this actual price. And this was a very big shock for electric vehicle market. And after that, electric vehicle started decreasing in the market and then also disappeared. And now in around 70, 72, people again started thinking about electric vehicles because of the fuel prices. There was a fuel blockade from the petroleum countries like Arab countries, and so there was a scarcity of fuel in the United States. Then again they started thinking about electric vehicles. And then again this improvement, or maybe the research is still going on in electric vehicles, and still we are doing. But now we hope after this time there will be boom in electric vehicle again, and there will be maybe the conventional vehicle will be extinct in the future. This is our expectation here. We are prospecting. So this is the brief history about electric vehicles. From we came, initially there was a golden age of electric vehicles, and again this time is coming. I'm giving you some highlights on news that Amazon, Flipkart, Big Basket, these kind of companies, they want to use electric vehicles in India. And this will be very big impact on pollution control, or maybe the efficiency of delivery and all these things. So that will be much cheaper. Big energy companies like NTPC, Indian Oil, and these companies are also entering into EV infrastructure, the charging infrastructure, and to take the e-mobility forward. And Viva is full form is Vidyut Vahan, is India's first quick charging station. It can take to charge three-wheeler e-rickshaws. It takes 90% less time to charge an electric rickshaw in 80 minutes instead of 10 hours. because in e-rickshaw there is a lead acid battery, which is not a quite fast charging, but in comparison of lithium ion batteries. So Viva is the first quick charging station installed. Maharashtra government and some other governments have also announced that there is no more registration charges for electric vehicles in India. This is also big news recently. Government in India spends 871 crores to promote electric vehicles by setting up charging infrastructures. And one more news is that Maruti Suzuki is to launch electric vehicles by 2025. India to be the first country to see new electric car by Maruti. So these are the some news highlights I try to put here so that you can imagine, you can get the idea what's going on in India market and also worldwide. So now in India, who are making EVs in India? The starting from two-wheelers, so many companies are making two-wheeler vehicles like Ace, Ajanta Manufacturing, Ampere, and Christ Motors, Eco Electrotherm, Hero Motocorp, Honda, Mahindra and Mahindra, Okinawa, Peugeot, and TVS Motors, Yo Bike, Ultra Motors. These are many companies which are making electric two-wheelers. But three-wheelers are also, there are companies which are making three-wheelers, and Bajaj Auto, Electrotherm, and Mahindra are making three-wheeler e-rickshaws. And many of the e-rickshaws are also, you can see in the market in New Delhi and many other cities, they are now increasing three-wheeler electric vehicles because they are much cheaper in operating cost. They are very cheap for the drivers and they can earn more money. In four-wheeler, the passenger cars, the Mahindra and Mahindra is the leading one in India. Tata is also made some electric car. In electric bus, Volmec Engineering, Volvo, Goldstone, these companies are making electric buses in India, and HDVs, Volmec Engineering and Volvo are making also trucks. Now let's see what are the challenges in India market. First thing is the inadequate charging infrastructure. Wherever you go, first of all, people think if I buy a vehicle, where I will charge? Very big problem. Another thing is the reliance on battery imports. We have to import batteries from China and other countries, but mostly China. Reliance on important components and parts, because in India we don't have very much facility, or maybe the companies haven't started production in India, so we have to import these components from other countries like China. Incentives linked to local manufacturing. This is from the government side, but government is now doing a lot on this area. So hopefully there will be more incentives and there will be more electric vehicles in market. Range anxiety among consumers. Basically, if we have any fueled vehicle, then we fuel once the vehicle and we can run many kilometers. But in electric vehicles, we want the similar flexibility that one charge we can run the vehicle for a long distance. So this range anxiety is among all the consumers, and because of this is also the problem in India. But this problem can be also solved by using very good batteries, but again the vehicle may become expensive in that case. High price of electric vehicles currently, I already explained, because of the battery cost and because of the cost of rare earth material, the motors, but mainly the cost of battery. Less options for high performance EVs. Normally in the market, you see the two-wheeler vehicles are there. They are for low speed vehicles. But people want high acceleration, high speed, then less options are there. Some options are there still, but not that much like in normal conventional vehicle. Inadequate electricity supply in parts of India. In rural area, you see many times the power cut is there. So how we can charge this vehicle is also an anxiety. Lack of quality maintenance and repair option. This is the same topic I already discussed in some slides before. And affected by broader automotive industry downturn. And so these are the so many challenges in India market. We have to come up with some solutions which can address these challenges so that we can also progress in the electric vehicle field. Now, this was all about the background of electric vehicles, the benefits of electric vehicle, what are the problem, difficulties, and how we can solve these things. So for that, we have to go a little bit inside the engineering aspects in development of electric vehicles. So here I'm just trying to give a small, little idea so that you can think yourself, especially students, they can come up with the innovative ideas where they can contribute, and in the future they can also propose some solution, and also they can build their career in this domain. The first thing I want to say that the specification of electric vehicles in the perspective of user, what user wants from electric vehicle. First thing is the range of the vehicle. Means anyone wants that once I charge the vehicle, I don't want to charge very quick again. So I can run the vehicle for a long distance. So range of the vehicle, first thing, the top speed of the vehicle, and the acceleration of the vehicle, acceleration ability, and the charging time also we want very less. So everything we want good in a vehicle, and so if all these things are met for a user, the user will buy this vehicle. But for meeting this all these requirements, all these points measured 4 points: the range of the vehicle, the top speed, the acceleration, and the charging time. If these 4 points are met, for meeting these things, we have so many engineering aspects. These are the things important to engineers. Battery capacity, the charging time, nominal voltage of battery, operating efficiency of parts, maximum motor power, maximum motor torque, cooling system, mechanical and electric inertia, transmission type, motor type, maximum RPM of motor, vehicle weight and shape. So many things are there we have to consider as engineers. Little bit more specific, I would like to explain starting from the engineering challenge, size and packaging. This is very big and very important aspect in any vehicle, not only electric vehicle, for any vehicle, for maneuverability, for during turning, and also in the acceleration and braking. Every time we have to consider the packaging of the vehicle, so that by analyzing the center of mass, by analyzing the distribution of all the components, especially the heavy components in the vehicle, how we do these things, so this will not affect the maneuverability of any vehicle. So according to this size and packaging, the vehicle should be compact. There should be strength, and the vehicle dynamics should be very good during the turns, left, right, and also then the acceleration. So and should be there, so that the life of each part will be good, and there should be minimum noise and vibrations. So all these are in the aspect of packaging and size. Another thing is the performance. The performance of the vehicle, we want basically good acceleration and high cruising speed, smooth speed change. So this is also an important aspect where you can think how we can increase that thing. Another engineering challenge is the efficiency of a vehicle. Efficiency here in this figure, you can see that very good efficiency always we want. If efficiency is not good, nobody will like. So efficiency, this efficiency measure should be in this region more than 90% or maybe more than 95% if possible. Then the vehicle will be top one. So while considering efficiency, we have to consider the efficiency in many parts, starting from the battery. The efficiency of battery should be very good. There should be very less, minimum or negligible losses in the battery. Similarly, in inverter, the losses should be very less. It should be highly efficient inverter, which powers the motor, and the power comes from the battery. The efficiency of motor is important. The gearbox, differential gear efficiency, and the efficiency of tire is also important. So all these things are inside the vehicle while vehicle is driving. But apart of this thing, the efficiency of battery charger is also important, because we are tapping the power from the grid, and this power is fed to the battery. So during this power transfer, there should be minimum losses. The efficiency should be very good. So battery charger efficiency is also very good and very important point and very big concern. And the DC to DC converter, there is also one converter in a vehicle. This supplies power to the auxiliaries of the vehicle, like lights, indicator, the steering motor, the power windows, all these things. This kind of auxiliary loads are supplied by DC to DC converter, because all the auxiliary loads will work with 12 volt, but the battery has a high voltage battery, maybe 400 volt in a car, 400 volt, 600 volt. This kind of high voltage battery is there in the vehicle, but all these auxiliaries work with 12 volt. So we have to convert this voltage from DC to DC converter. So this is also very important part in the vehicle. This also contributes in the range of the vehicle, or overall we can say efficiency of the vehicle. So we have to consider all this is also a challenge, efficiency. The range of a vehicle can be increased having the same battery, but how? One thing is by designing powertrain components. The powertrain components, these are the powertrain components. We have to design these components very well so that they deliver very good efficiency. Another point is by locating operating points. Basically, a motor. This is for a motor. This is the operating region. This is the speed, and this is the torque of the motor. So initially, the torque is very high, and after that, torque get reduced when speed increases. So this within this region, in this entire region, motor can operate at any point. But we want to locate the operating points of the vehicles so that the operating point should be in such a region. This is the region where the motor efficiency is the maximum, or this is we can say this region is for optimal operating points. So we should design the powertrain of the electric vehicle so that the efficiency delivered by each subsystem or each component in the vehicle should be at maximum. So this is another way how we can increase the range of the vehicle by locating operating points. The third aspect is the using better software control. Here the inverter, the motor control, and many other things which are possible in battery charger and DC-DC converter. There is also possibility in the control by using better control technique. We can increase the efficiency. We can reduce the losses. Then another challenge, engineering challenge, is that inside the battery. The battery is basically, this is a kind of battery. So battery in electrically represented like this. This is the battery. Then these are some resistance and capacitance inside the battery. So when power is drawn from the battery, there will be losses, and this battery losses will create heating. So we have, and the heating because this kind of cells in a battery, there can be multiple cells arranged in a series of parallel connection. So in this battery pack, some cells may get heated up more because there may be more losses. Some cells may be okay. So we have to use a proper thermal management system so that the temperature of all the cells can be maintained. So this is also one challenge, that how to manage the thermal environment inside the battery pack. Another challenge related to battery is that how we utilize the battery. Basically, in a battery, let's say this is one cell in a battery. The battery is composed of multiple numerous cells, maybe thousands of cells. So in one cell, there is let's say this is the capacity designed for the rated capacity of the cell. Then inside the cell, only the stored energy will be a limited energy, and some part of the battery will be inactive. And when the life increases, the inactive part increases again in the cell. So we have to manage this thing. And inside the battery pack, the cells will have different the capacity, the stored energy. The inactive part will be of different size in each cell. In this case, if we connect all the cells in the series or in a parallel, we utilize all the cells together, they may not perform well all the time, because all the cells should have the same capacity, same strength. Like I give you one example of a chariot. In a chariot, there are 4 horses are there. If all 4 horses run with the same speed, with the same power, then the chariot will run with the fastest speed. So the same analogy we can also understand in a battery system. When all the cells are connected in series and parallel, if all the cells are equally contributing in the battery pack, then there will be the highest performance of the battery. So we have to use a battery management system so that we can utilize the best of the battery. So in the battery management system, there are basically three parts. One is the cell monitoring. There is one system, electronic system, which monitors each cell of the inside the battery. So many cells are there, but each cell will be monitored by the battery management system. Then during the charging and discharging also, it controls how much charge we have to give to one cell and not in another cell. So this thing also controlled. And finally, if the cells are charged with different potential, then we have to also equalize that thing. So that thing is done by cell balancing. So battery management system is also another very important part in vehicle battery. This is one engineering challenge you can consider, and you can think some ideas on how. So many research is already done, but for students there is also one topic where a lot of things can be done still more. Another engineering challenge is regarding the motor. Electric motor has some electrical losses as well as mechanical losses, and these losses always create heat. So how to rid out of this heat? So the thermal management system is required. If we are not able to rid out this heat, or we can't find the solution, then this may demagnetize the magnets which are available inside the rotor of the motor. And a part of this motor, the inverter which drives the motor also commits some losses, and the losses in any electronic system, the heat in any electronic system reduces the life of the component, the part. So basically, in some electrical power we are feeding to one system, then the output will be some power and some part will be wasted in heat. That is the part of losses. So the loss we want to minimize. Because the loss, when we loss, it improves the efficiency as well as it improves the life of the component. So another more challenges regarding the mechanical system is that wearing in moving parts and overheating and failure. Then for come up with the overheating, we have to use a thermal management system to improve the efficiency and prolonged life. And at the end, one challenge is always available, and we have always opportunity of optimization of the entire operation. In entire vehicle, we use all the component, battery, motor, inverter, gears, many things we use, and also we use some cooling system for this all the components. So how to we organize our system at any speed when vehicle is moving at any speed? How to organize all entire system so that the optimum energy, optimum output, or the optimum range can be achieved. So this is always one challenge in an electric vehicle, where also you can think. All this, apart of all these engineering challenges, there are some emerging technologies also. I'm giving you a brief about all this technology. One is ultra fast charging. There are along with the electric vehicles, there are many ultra fast chargers. The fast charging technologies are coming up, and one of them is by Hyundai. They have developed some charging station like this. But for fast charging, the fast charging depends on two things. One is on the ability of the battery. Another is the charging power. If we increase the power transfer power of the charger, that doesn't help. There should be ability of the battery also. So we have to use a perfect battery chemistry or the structure of this the battery pack, so that it can receive as much as power possible. So the fast charging depends on two things: ability of the battery and the charging power. So ability of battery depends on the chemistry and the structure and the cooling system, many other things. And the charging power depends on the charging station, the ability of the grid, these kind of things. So both the things together make possible the fast charging. Tesla superchargers are popular everywhere. People know about Tesla superchargers, and I am giving you one example of Hyundai ultra fast charger. Tesla supercharger needs 15 minutes to charge for 200 kilometers drive. But Hyundai eGMP, this charger, requires 5 minutes to charge 100 kilometers. So this type of technology is also available nowadays in the world. Another technology or new thing is that vehicle to grid. This is bidirectional power flow. We can charge the vehicle, and also we can deliver the power of the vehicle to the grid or maybe to the home. So in the system where which have plug-in electric vehicles. Plug-in electric vehicles, the example also is battery electric vehicle, hybrid, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, and fuel cell, hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles. In these all three kind of vehicles, there is the ability that they can transfer the power to the grid, to the home. So this is called V2G application. So there are these kind of chargers which are also called V2G enabled EV fast chargers are also installed somewhere in the world. So basically, there is a power grid. This is a charging station or maybe home, and then there is a V2G unit, and there is the vehicle. So the blue line charges the vehicle, the power flow, and the orange line is reverse power flow to deliver the power to the grid or maybe to home again. So appropriate AC to appropriate DC conversion for grid to vehicle application, and for vehicle to grid application, there is a DC to appropriate AC conversion. So this is the bidirectional power flow. This technology is also one insight I want to give you in this technology. Then very big and research or new technology, which is also very much promising results, is the wireless charging of electric vehicles. This is basically inductive power transfer method, like in a transformer, where the magnetic flux transmits the power from one place to another place, so maybe one coil to another coil. So this is inductive power transfer, transmitting and receiving pad. So the basic idea about this technology is that there will be one transmitting pad under the ground surface. On the ground surface, there will be one receiving pad under the vehicle chassis. So the transmitting pad transmits magnetic flux. That flux will be captured by the receiving pad, and like this, without any wire, any cable, the power can be transferred to the vehicle. So this is the basic concept behind wireless charging of electric vehicles. This technology is very promising and it has very much prospects because it is a contactless. This is very safe because there is no dust, no water and snow. This is free from everything. So this is very safe, very convenient. We don't have to plug, disconnect anything. Automatically everything happens. The charging starts, and after charging, it can also switch off the this power transfer. Very convenient, and this is also very robust because there is no moving part. Everything is stationary and fixed, so there is no wearing, tearing, anything, and this is very robust system. So this is also very much futuristic technology, wireless charging of electric vehicles. In this wireless charging of electric, also there are 4 aspects I would like to explain. One is the charging in parking place. Vehicle is parked, and during parking it can charge. Another case is when vehicle is standing on traffic signal. Then also there is opportunity, then vehicle can get charged, because in India you see another traffic signal somewhere in big cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, we have to wait for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So during 5 or 10 minutes, battery can be charged. So this is one opportunity as traffic signal. Bus stop, whenever bus comes and stop at the bus stop, then also we can charge the bus. In this way, the bus doesn't have to wait for charging. On highway, this is a very good and very promising technology in the future, that when we are running on the highway, then also we are charging. So while we are running, we are charging. So in moving charging concept is very important, very good, because in that situation we don't have to keep very big batteries, because normally we have the big batteries so that we can have more driving range. So let's suppose if I want to travel from Mumbai to Delhi, then I will need a very large size of battery. But if from Mumbai to Delhi, if there is a charging track like this, roads are like this, the vehicle is moving on the track and charging, then why to use the big batteries? Because it's continuously charging. So this technology is also very promising in the future. It can save time because it's charging while driving. Another very big advantage is the reduced battery size. So the cost of the vehicle, electric vehicle, will also go down, and there is a big future. Yes, for first installation, it will cost a lot for government or for maybe whoever installed this kind of track from Mumbai to Delhi in this long distance. But after installation, this will save a lot of money, and it will also promote the electric vehicles a lot. And the maintenance is also very less in this kind of system because nothing is moving inside. Everything, the stationary parts are there. If everything is running fine and thermal constraints and everything is maintained, then this the life of this system will be also very big, very long. Then another concept is mobile charging. Mobile charging is one Swiss company some years ago. One Swiss company, its name is Nation E, launched one Angel car. This kind of Angel car, which is having one charging equipment which can be transported to the location where the electric vehicle is there. So on demand, this vehicle can go there and charge the vehicle. So it can provide charge in emergency condition so that the vehicle can run some kilometers and go to proper charging station. So this is also one very innovative business idea they have. And after this Angel car, there are many other companies. They started production of this kind of mobile charging station, like RAC and Lightning system. This and like this kind of solutions. Then this kind of system can be also charged very fast. So this system can charge by 80 kilowatt power. So this mobile charging concept is also there. I would like to introduce. Then next thing is new battery technologies. We have already talked this. Battery is a very important thing and very big hurdle also in the proliferation of electric vehicles. So let's see how to do this thing. We have to go for some new technologies on a battery, so that there should be high energy density in the battery, high efficiency of the battery, fast charging should be possible in the battery. I said that fast charging is not the responsibility of the chargers only. This is the responsibility of the battery also. It should receive that much charge very fast. So fast charging and the low cost of the battery, low maintenance of the battery, and finally the battery should be eco-friendly also, because if after using the battery, in case of the battery is dead, we have to decompose this battery. So this should not affect or should not harm the environment. So this is also one constraint, the eco-friendly. So in the new technologies of battery, lithium-ion batteries is very popular. It's well-proven technology. Several manufacturers like Tesla, Nissan, General Motors have invested heavily in this kind of technology. There is also solid-state batteries. In solid-state batteries, they don't employ electrolytes, liquid electrolytes, so there is no chance of leakage and the fires. And they also have very good thermal properties, because air and water, this kind of flow will be also very good in this. So General Motors, Toyota, and Volkswagen, these are companies are looking into this kind of technology. Then there is also aluminum batteries, aluminum ion batteries like lithium ion batteries. Aluminum ion batteries are also there. They are significantly fast in charging and ability of bending. They are very flexible kind of batteries, not like a very solid or rigid batteries. And Stanford and Oak Ridge National Laboratory in the United States are working on this technology, aluminum ion battery. Then lithium sulfur battery. This is also new technology, not very much used, but NASA has invested and also doing research on this solid state lithium sulfur batteries for space application. Another type of battery is metal air batteries. These are also becoming very popular, but not used anywhere, but it's under research only. So some metals like lithium, aluminum, zinc, and sodium, these metals are also called active metals. So they have very good ability in reactions. So the environment, basically the oxygen of the environment, these metals do some reactions and provide power, electricity. So these batteries are also being researched very much, and they can deliver very good power with less investment or less the cost. So this may be the future of electric vehicles also. So these are the new technologies in the battery domain is going on. After talking all this engineering challenge, first of all, I explained about the background of electric vehicles, the benefits and the drawbacks and all these things, the challenges, all these things. Then I focused on the engineering point of view. What are the challenges we see in an engineering point of view? But now let's see what are the business prospects in electric vehicle market. So basically, there are two types of two things. One is the charging area, charging related business. Another is maintenance related business. So I give you some idea on that, how one can start business in this domain in electric vehicle. One can own a charging station. And for realizing a charging station, the energy can be drawn from a renewable and power plant, maybe in some fields or anywhere out of the city, from the renewable power plant, and from power grid, and from diesel or gas plant. So the combination of all these three, one can realize one charging station, and this to collect the energy, and this energy can be delivered to charge electric vehicles. And this station can be connected with some charging management service, like a mobile application, where the user can locate the charging station and the tariff and everything, and can go and charge. So this is also one business plan, business idea possible related to charging station, and how efficient, how cheap, or how effective we can make. So this depends on the person wants to start the business. Another business prospect is traffic signal charging and roadside parking charging. So I already explained that when vehicle can stop at the traffic signal for a few minutes, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, that time there is an opportunity that vehicle can get charged. Maybe 10%, but at least vehicle can get charged. So this is also very good future prospect. One can start the business. Another thing is the roadside charging. Somebody or some company may buy some space on the roadside, or maybe outside, out of home, or maybe out of office, everywhere, wherever possible. And this kind of wireless charging setups can be installed. The vehicle can go there and charge automatically, get discharged, get disconnected, and go away. So this is also very much a business prospect related to charging. One more important thing is that in electric vehicle, there's peer-to-peer charging. Let's suppose there are two vehicles moving on the road. One vehicle has very good charge available in its battery. Another vehicle has very less charge and is seeking for a charging station, but the charging station is not there around. Then the well-charged vehicle can deliver or can help with the available charge. So this is a charge sharing between two vehicles. So it's vehicle to vehicle charge sharing technology. And this can be possible in stationary as well as moving condition also. And they don't have to wait for on a highway, on anywhere, and stationary application, of course, they can transfer charge from one vehicle to another vehicle. And this charge sharing may create revenue for the donor, and the receiver can give the money for that. The mobile charging is already explained, but in the business perspective, this is also one good idea that one can install one mobile charging station on a very big truck, and it can have charging while moving, and also a stationary application. So people don't have to wait for the charging, and the charging station can also move. So while moving, they can get charged. So this can be also one business idea. Then battery swiping. This technology is being installed somewhere in the world. Yamaha is developing battery swiping electric scooter with Taiwan's company Gogoro, and they have done some business also on this battery swiping technology. So this is also one idea can be possible in the future. Then another technology is vehicle to grid. About the technology I already explained, but the business prospect is that vehicle to grid power sharing. I give you an example that Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with its 12 kilowatt hour battery can store as much as energy one average family consumes in one day. So this energy, if the vehicle has this energy 12 kilowatt hour, this energy can be delivered to one house, one domestic place, or maybe some office, and this can create revenue. So once the vehicle has some excess energy stored, this can be transferred to the grid and fulfill the energy demand for the home, office, or maybe on the peak hours also. The person can deliver the energy to grid and earn money. So this is also one business prospect on vehicle to grid power transfer, power sharing. Another business idea can be possible business prospect is the EV charging station management system. Since there will be in the future, there will be many charging stations, many possibilities of charging, maybe the proper charging station, formal, or maybe the vehicle to vehicle charging, or maybe mobile charging, or maybe many other possibilities, the roadside charging, traffic signal charging, many possibilities are there. So among all these possibilities, there should be a charging management system also, which can give proper idea and also the billing and also the complete management should be possible. So one can develop this kind of charging application, or maybe charging the management company also can fulfill all the requirements. So there should be in the charging management system, there should be the map and locations, available positions in certain charging station. There should if vacant position is there, or we can also reserve the position for charging, maybe available charge inside the vehicle, or maybe on the charging station also the available charge, and the driving range, tariff, the billing, and the payments. All these kind things and many more features can be also possible in any charging station management system, charging management system also we can call it. So this is also one business prospect in the future related to electric vehicles. So all these were the business prospects related to the charging. Now let's see the maintenance related business prospect. Since there is magnets in PMS and this kind of motors, permanent magnet motors are there in electric vehicles, maybe induction motor also there, but in permanent magnet motors are there wherever they are used. So there is a chance, there are chances after some time, or in maybe the malfunctioning, there is a chances of demagnetization of this kind of motors. So the magnetization of the motors also one maintenance possible. Then repair or replace faulty motors, maintenance of cooling system, battery or cell replacement, because you know in a battery pack all the cells don't perform equally. So some cells will perform very well, some cells may be damaged, some cells may be moderate. Okay, but there is a possibility that we can replace the cells which are faulty. So the battery management system can identify which cells are good, which cells are healthy and non-healthy. So based on that analysis, these battery cells can be replaced. So this is also one business plan. Mobile apps for servicing, anomaly detection system. This is also very good business prospect, is that we can make an intelligent system which can identify in entire powertrain of electric vehicle which part is running unhealthy, or which part has the anomaly inside. So the anomaly can be detected by some intelligent system, and based on this anomaly, the service center can recognize which part is faulty or which part is going to be faulty. So this service is also possible. Some idea is also there in the future. So and many more ideas possible related to business in electric vehicle field. So this is all upon you, that how you think, how you think innovatively in this field, and what contribution you can do. So I encourage all the students to understand this concept and go in little on more insight of all the topics, and propose some ideas, all these things for the betterment of this technology. In this way, I'm going to propose one event which is organized by KPIT Technologies Limited. This name is KPIT Sparkle, which is going to be held in March, February or March next year, 2022. And this is one innovative platform which has the focus on mobility and energy for the future. This is India's biggest innovation platform for undergraduate to PhD students, and it has many benefits. The major two benefits: one is the opportunity to build alternate career path as a future entrepreneur. By proposing some idea, KPIT can help to become a future entrepreneur. Another very big advantage or benefit is that opportunity to top 100 teams to get placed in KPIT. This is a big job opportunity. Third advantage, the benefit, is that funding and incubation opportunity. KPIT will provide that opportunity to you, and continuous mentoring from industry and academician, and IP ownership of the idea remains with students. And the main thing, win awards up to 21 lakhs for students and 60,000 for mentors. So this is also a big opportunity. So there are so many advantages of KPIT Sparkle, and this innovative platform is built for students around the India. So I would encourage you to participate in this event. It happens every year, and this is a very good opportunity for all. So I stop my session till here, and it's all upon you how you think about this technology and how you contribute in this, and how you build your career, your future. Thank you so much, and then we can have a question and answer session now.
Yes, sir. Let me just turn on the live chat so that the students can ask the questions. Yes, students, I have just turned on the live chat. If you're not able to see, just refresh the page once. Yes, if you're not able to see the live chat, just refresh the page once. Yes. Yes. Hello, Sajid. So if anyone has any questions related to today's webinar, then they can ask the questions and I'll convey the questions to Hemant sir and he will answer those. Yeah. Hi, Nitish. Okay. Yes. Pratiksha, thank you. Hello. Hello, everyone.
One question I received regarding V2G. What is this? A little more about this. So I explain a little bit about V2G again.
Okay.
Basically, in a vehicle, in electric vehicle, we have a big battery, large size of battery, which can store huge amount of energy. So if we have excess energy, sometimes on demand, we can deliver this energy to the grid. So like let's suppose grid has the peak demand in the evening and in the morning, especially in the evening time, there is a peak demand of energy. So if there are many vehicles which are already charged and they want to deliver the energy to the grid, back and they want to earn money instead of that. So this is possible by connecting the vehicle to the charging station. The power, then the power flow will be reversed from vehicle to the battery, vehicle battery to the grid, and the grid can be supported by the many electric vehicles. And
Okay.
so this is the V2G technology.
Okay. Sir, there are some questions from the student side. So I'll ask one by one the questions. So
Yes,
yes. So Suman is asking, can you please tell me about lithium sulfur batteries? Okay, I'll just club 2 to 3 questions. One more students, Pramod is asking, can we use solar panels along with lithium ion battery?
Okay.
So yeah, so these 2 questions basically. So more about lithium sulfur batteries and can we combine solar panels with lithium ion battery?
Basically combining the lithium ion battery with solar cells. This is not basically lithium ion batteries we use to store the energy.
Okay.
The solar cells we use to generate power, generate the energy, receive the energy from the solar and delivers the energy. This energy can be stored in the lithium ion battery. So the power received from the solar cell and stored in the battery, lithium ion battery. So this is possible. But combining means, if you mean combining, this is your meaning, then yes, we can do that.
Okay.
And regarding the sulfur battery, I don't have much idea on this chemistry of this battery. I just gave you the idea. This research is also going on in this domain.
Okay. So, sir, do you have any more information about the KPIT Sparkle placement thing? Because one student is asking that our team got into top 100 last year, but did not got placement mail. So I think it is this opportunity is there for this year's Sparkle, right? Can
Okay.
you just?
No, this opportunity was there earlier also, but there is a written exam. So
Okay.
after selecting in the top 100 team, also there is a selection process.
Okay.
So you have to qualify that also.
Okay. So I think questions related to KPIT Sparkle, what I will be doing is I'll be putting up the KPIT Sparkle official website link in the description of this video once we end this live session. So all the students can go to that particular link, and all the details about KPIT Sparkle, how to register, what are various domains, is everything there on the website. So, sir, more questions currently related to the seminar we had today. What about the solar based battery can be charged every time out in day, or kinetic energy used to generate the power for batteries? So he's basically asking, can we use the kinetic energy to generate power for batteries, or we have to charge it every time?
Yes, this is a good question. Basically, many people have this perception that when we apply the brakes, the kinetic energy of the vehicle can be stored in the battery. But yes, this is possible, but a certain amount. Not the entire energy can be, the entire kinetic energy is stored in the battery. But some percentage can be stored. So anyways, we have to charge the battery. But some part where we apply the brakes, the some energy is stored in the battery. So it basically improves the efficiency, overall efficiency of the drivetrain of the electric vehicle. So it also contributes in the increasing the range of the vehicle, but we have to charge the vehicle.
Okay. One good question, sir. Basically, we all speak about the advantages of EVs over petrol or diesel. So one student is asking, what are the disadvantages of EVs over petrol or diesel engine vehicles?
Okay, yes, it's a good question, really. The disadvantages, actually, we are not so used to of electric vehicles. We always assume that if any vehicle is coming, then there will be a noise, there will be some vibration or these kind of things. But whenever some electric vehicle is coming, this is very calm. So we will not realize any vehicle is coming. So there are chances of accidents. So we have to take care of this thing.
Okay. Okay. One student is asking, is there any opportunity to use energy storage mechanism in thermal management?
Energy storage in thermal management, I mean, if you mean by molten salt technology of energy storage, then basically there is also one way of storing energy in molten salt, some material which can be heated up, and this energy is stored in form of heat. Like in a battery, the energy is stored in a chemical energy, but there the heat energy is stored in the form of heat. So that energy also can be retrieved later in the form of electrical energy. But this technology is not very efficient, and so we don't discuss this kind of technology, or we don't use that thing.
Okay. So one student is asking, he wants to know more about just a minute, let me read it. The question. Yeah, he's currently doing a project on fast charging of e-rickshaws. So can you give some tips? So I think, Agam, that would be a very vague question. But sir, I would like you to tell them more about how the students who are interested in basically EV, how they can present their idea at KPIT Sparkle, and even they can get an opportunity to work on those real-time ideas, and also get an opportunity to work with KPIT. So can you put some more light on that?
Yes, I will definitely do that. But for answering that question, also I would like to use some words. That fast charging, I already explained in this presentation. The fast charging is not a responsibility of the charging station. This is also the depends on the ability of the battery. So normally in e-rickshaw, there is a lead acid battery, and lead acid battery doesn't have that much acceptance of current. So mostly the C/10 is normally the typical charging rate for lead acid battery, but we can increase a little bit more, but that again reduces the life of the battery. So this is not a good idea. So we have to increase the ability of the battery to get charged faster. Okay. So now coming to the KPIT Sparkle and how students can contribute or participate in KPIT Sparkle is that today in this session I tried to explain the engineering challenges. So if you heard about the engineering challenges. In those challenges also there can be multiple ideas possible. So you think with open-minded, some innovative ideas, innovations, and submit your ideas to KPIT Sparkle. Just log on KPIT Sparkle and submit your idea. In a in person also, and maybe in a team also, you can submit an idea, and these ideas will be evaluated by our experts in the office, and the selected ideas will be mentored. We will provide mentoring support. So the expert from KPIT who evaluated your ideas, they will, if your idea is selected and very good, and maybe for future, then our experts will support you by mentoring you. And finally you can get good development, and if everything is good, you come in top 100 teams, then there will be other procedure, and finally there will be top 30 teams which can represent present your idea, some prototype, and our KPIT Sparkle event, and win the prize on many other supports. In one thing is a prize, but I already introduced, and I go to some slides back. What are the possibilities, the benefits of KPIT Sparkle? These are the major benefits. Many other things, but some of them are listed here. One thing is the future entrepreneur. You can, if your idea is very good, excellent idea is there, which can be converted into business, and good business, then KPIT will support you to start your business, and KPIT will provide you the incubation opportunity, and for that, so that you can also become an entrepreneur. And second thing, opportunity, big opportunity is getting placed in KPIT.
Right.
So these are the benefits.
Right. One student is asking one doubt, sir, that you said that there is a chance to change the faulty cells in the battery, but he's asking, isn't it challenging task to do, and it will cost a good amount of money, making it less practical thing to do in the market?
Yeah, maybe in the current state available technology, this may not be very cheap, or maybe may not be economic, but
right,
you can come up with some ideas which can make it possible.
Okay. Yes. So definitely, I think KPIT Sparkle would be a platform where students can bring out their ideas related to EV, and they can present their ideas. Let me check if there are some more questions. Yes, Dhruv is asking basically why EV are so expensive. What increases its cost and why? So maybe, sir, you can tell about that one thing which increases the cost of EV so much over the regular petrol and diesel vehicles.
The biggest thing is the battery.
Okay.
I explained in the session 2-3 times. The battery is very expensive, and the maintenance of the battery, the charging of the battery, all these things are creating problems. Because of that, the vehicles are expensive.
Okay.
So I said in the one slide that the approximately 40% of the cost in one electric vehicle is the cost of battery when we use a lithium-ion battery.
Okay. Nilesh is asking, like, he's currently working on his final year project about hybrid solar wind powered charging station for electric vehicles. So he's asking whether it is really possible practically.
Yes, definitely. This is possible.
Okay. Nilesh, I think you can go ahead with your project, and definitely you can also present your project at KPIT Sparkle. Just a minute. Let me take one question over here. One student is asking, hello, sir, you have said that there is zero emission in electric vehicles, but we need to notice from where we can get the source of energy. Mostly electricity is produced by burning of coal. So he's trying to ask whether again producing batteries is again going to not be environment friendly, or that also is going to create emission.
Yeah, this is a good question, and good that you thought about it. Yes, definitely. If we think the holistic view, then electric vehicles are also not 100% green. They're
Right.
100% zero emission vehicle. The energy we get from somewhere, some source, which are polluting the environment. But basically, if you focus on the cities, inside the city, electric vehicles are not producing emissions.
Right. I got, sir, one very interesting question. Basically, one student is asking how to start the business of charging station.
This is a very good question, and this has can be a very long answer also, and I may not have that long answer also. But
Okay.
in the business perspective, is definitely one can if one can think installing a charging station, then it is possible. That includes the source of energy from three things. One is from the grid, power grid. Another thing is from renewable energy, maybe solar or wind, and the third is by using some diesel generator set, DG set. So in emergency, that can be also used. So by employing this various kind of varieties of power can be merged to one point, and this power can be delivered to the vehicle. So this will have a huge investment and also very long-term planning. And yes, definitely this can be also possible.
Okay. One point, one student is asking, Reshma is asking, is any company in India producing batteries, or is there any chance that we can get ahead from China and other countries to start the production of batteries in India? So, are there any huge producers of batteries in India, sir, currently?
No, I don't have any idea. As for my,
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea that any company in India is producing batteries in huge amount. But
Okay.
the research is going on. So many companies, many research centers are doing research on battery technology, and so this thing is there. KPIT is also doing research on batteries.
Okay. Sir, some students would like to know more about KPIT company, like what the company does and how it's helping the new graduates to start their career.
Okay. Actually, KPIT is an automotive company, or this is a automotive software development partners for OEM companies. OEM companies like original equipment manufacturers, like the companies which manufacture vehicles, like BMW, Mercedes, Jaguar Land Rover, Tata Motors, Mahindra. These companies, they produce vehicles. They are original equipment manufacturers. So we are KPIT. We are the software integration partner with these companies. So we don't produce any product, but we produce any. We don't produce any hardware product, but we produce the solutions. We provide technology solutions to these companies. But
Okay.
in KPIT is not limited to any one point. We are available in all the components, all the parts, or all the technologies related to vehicles we are working on.
Okay. The students who are currently asking related to recruitment, I think this won't be the right webinar to ask about the recruitment process, because currently
That's
we are
right.
focusing on the webinar which is related to electric vehicles. And yes, one recruitment process or one recruitment opportunity which currently KPIT has given to you is through the KPIT Sparkle. So I would ask everyone to register for the KPIT Sparkle competition. You can present your ideas. I have just posted the link in the chat. So go through the website, and I think that would be really helping you out, because the top 100 teams have also got the opportunity to get into the recruitment process of KPIT. One student is asking, sir, how is IoT technology useful in electric vehicles?
Okay, this is a tough question for me because I'm not from that background. But
Mm-hmm.
this research on related to IoT is also going on in KPIT. But I'm not the right person to answer that thing, because I don't have I have very less idea on this.
Okay. Okay. So let me just check if there are any more questions. Will there be a recorded session? Yeah, this session will be recorded, Srilata. So we'll be having it on our YouTube channel. One student is asking, sir, my last year project is V2G technology. Do you have any idea about it, sir? What is V2G technology or something?
Okay, I explained this thing in this session, but I would put some light on this.
Mm-hmm.
V2G is very interesting technology where if we have some excess energy in our vehicle, and if you want to donate this energy to the grid, to the power grid, then this is possible with this technology. So we can go to the charging station, or we can connect in some means. We can connect our vehicle to the grid, and this energy can be transferred from vehicle to the grid. Since we have excess energy with us, so this energy we can sell to the grid, and in this way we can also get money. We can get revenue from the grid also.
Okay.
But this depends on the installation by the government. In India, this technology is not there, but in the future there is a possibility of V2G.
Okay. One student is asking, sir, what kind of requirements of the motor used in EVs, such as constant current is preferred or constant voltage is preferred?
Okay. No, basically in a motor, constant current and constant voltage was not there. Uh, in a motor, according to a load requirement like the acceleration of the vehicle, the braking of the vehicle, or the speed of the vehicle, the voltage and current varies.
Right.
So this is never constant. The voltage or current is a constant, but yeah, it can be the maximum. Sometimes we are running the vehicle when the voltage is at its maximum. We can't go beyond that, so we are using the maximum value. But this is not constant for any time.
So one student is asking, sir, are there any opportunities for mechanical engineering EV field, or it is completely for electrical engineering field? So just you can put light if how many which field students are favorable for this particular technology.
This is not limited to any only the electrical field. Mechanical students can also contribute in this technology. I tell you, one thing is in thermal engineering, another thing is production engineering, and many automobile engineering is not possible here. But at least I don't have many idea of the many specialization of mechanical engineering, but the thermal and productions always have opportunity in this domain.
Okay. Yes. Just sir, one thing. I would just like to share the website of KPIT Sparkle. Just I will share, and it will help students to understand some of the things. Just let me share the screen. So yes, students, this is the official KPIT Sparkle website. So all of you can visit this particular website. And on this website, you will get all the details of the KPIT Sparkle competition, which is currently going on. You can register for this competition. And if you want to have some resources, like there are even some helpful resources. If you click on this particular link, helpful resources, here you can check. There are some useful videos on how you can submit the idea. Okay, regarding idea submission, there are videos related to guidelines and procedures. Even there are some sample prototype videos also. So autonomous oil spill absorbing robot, autonomous vehicle. So there is a lot of useful resources which you can go through on this particular website. Okay, so once you are done with this live session, you can go through it. And even from the website also, you can get in touch with KPIT. So for example, they have given the email ID over here, kpitsparkle2022@kpit.com. So if you have any further doubts related to the competition or any other thing, you can just mail KPIT on this particular email ID. Okay, let me check, sir, if there are some one or two doubts. This will be last one or two doubts which we'll be taking, and then we can stop. Yes, let me just check. One student asking, sir, after some years of EV, will it be mandatory to all the fueling stations to have the charging port? Like, is government working somewhere on that lines?
Yeah, this should be there. For my opinion, they should be there, but it depends on the policies of government. So
Right.
how they decide the policies, and also it's not the policy of central government. In different states, the policies may be different.
Okay. Is EV charging grid very expensive? One student is asking.
No, basically the grid is the same, but we have to increase the capacity of the grid, because for making or realizing fast charging, we need very much power. One vehicle is seeking, let's suppose, 100 kilowatt, and there are maybe 10 vehicles are connected to the charging station. Then 1 megawatt power is required. So 1,000 kilowatt power is required. So that much power should be delivered by the grid. Then this becomes the grid should have that capability.
Okay. So guys, I think we will stop with the Q&A session. So just before ending with the session, the registrations have started for the KPIT Sparkle. The last date to register is 31st August 2021. So between 6th March to 31st August, registration, idea submission, and prototype evaluation. You have prototyping and evaluation will be done. Okay. From 1st July to 31st December, after that, the guidance to the top 100 teams will be given. And in January, the finalist selection, and there will be a grand finale. So I would request all of you to go through this website of KPIT Sparkle. And if you have got any other doubts related to competition, then you can just contact KPIT on email. Okay. I would just like to ask all the students who are currently live, how was the session? Was this session informative, and did it help you to get an idea about EVs, electric vehicles in India? You can just comment and let me know. Yes, Nitish, thank you. Chetan, yes, the session is very informative. Thank you, sir. Yes, thank you, Chetan. Okay. Okay. Yes, sir. So we will stop with the session currently. And thank you all. Yes, yes. Thank you, Yash. Thank you, Nitish. Thank you, Adarsh. Thank you, Ravinder. Okay. So yes, sir, we have received very good feedback from the students who have attended the session. Once again, on behalf of the Talent Battle team, I would like to thank Dr. Hemant sir, and I would also like to thank the entire KPIT team for organizing this webinar and enlightening our students. So thank you, everyone, and we'll sign off.
Thank you so much, the Talent Battle, and I would like to thank all the participants. And really nice from my side that I introduced you about this technology. And I would like to get more ideas and innovations from your side.
Yes. Thank you, sir, and thank you for your valuable time. I will just end the session right now.